Mexico and Canada have just announced a $120 billion trade corridor, a direct economic link that bypasses the United States entirely. For decades, U.S. infrastructure and policy have dominated North American trade. This project flips that script. The corridor will connect Mexico and Canada directly, allowing goods to move between them without ever crossing into the U.S. Why now? Years of trade tensions and unpredictable tariffs, especially during the Trump era, pushed both countries to seek more control over their economic futures. This is more than an infrastructure project. It's a strategic move to reduce reliance on the U.S. and avoid future political headaches. Imagine a superhighway for goods, built to sidestep the world's largest economy. Cars, electronics, and agricultural products will flow freely, immune to U.S. tariffs and border delays. The $120 billion investment signals a fundamental reshaping of the continent's economic map. It challenges the old assumption that all North American trade must pass through the U.S. The implications are huge, not just for these three countries, but for global trade. Nations are now actively building alternatives to the old U.S.-centric order. This corridor is a physical symbol of a new multipolar world. It's a quiet revolution built with steel, concrete, and political will. The world is watching. Will this new path bring prosperity to Mexico and Canada? And what does it mean for a U.S. now on the outside looking in? The stage is set for a dramatic shift in North American power. So what is a trade corridor? Think of it as a superhighway for business, a network of ports, railways, highways, and logistics centers designed to move goods quickly and efficiently. It's not just about roads, it's about seamless integration from ship to rail to truck. A truck loaded with avocados in Mexico could reach Toronto with minimal stops, thanks to this corridor. These routes are economic arteries, pumping life into the regions they cross. They create jobs, attract investment, and make exports more competitive. For Mexico and Canada, this corridor is a bet on their own prosperity, making it easier to trade with each other, not just the U.S. Integration is key. Ports, railways, and customs must work together smoothly. The project will upgrade Mexican ports and connect them to Canada's rail network, creating a fluid chain from coast to coast. It's a strategic investment in the future, reducing reliance on U.S. infrastructure. Mexico and Canada are building the foundation for a new economic relationship. This is about more than concrete and steel. It's about shaping power for decades to come. The corridor is a declaration. They're not just hoping for more trade, they're making it happen. The $120 billion CMXCA corridor is a joint venture between Mexico, Canada, and private investors. Key Mexican ports like Manzanillo and Coatzacoalcos will be expanded to handle the world's largest ships, becoming major gateways for goods from Asia and Europe. Thousands of kilometers of new and modernized rail lines will form a high-speed freight spine through Mexico, connecting directly to Canada's rail network. The goal, a land bridge faster and more reliable than shipping through the Panama Canal or across the U.S. Technology and sustainability are central. Renewable energy will power the rail lines, and logistics centers will use AI and blockchain for efficiency and security. The project will roll out in phases, starting with port upgrades and the main north-south rail line, then expanding to connect industrial and agricultural regions. Canada will upgrade its rail and border facilities to handle the new flow of goods. This phased approach makes the investment manageable and ensures long-term success. Piece by piece, Mexico and Canada are building a new foundation for continental trade. The Trump presidency marked a turning point in North American trade. America First policies and unpredictable tariffs created constant uncertainty for Canada and Mexico. NAFTA was renegotiated into the USMCA, but the process was tense and left both neighbors wary of future U.S. policy shifts. Tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other goods made it harder for Canadian and Mexican companies to plan and profit. The lesson was clear: over-reliance on the U.S. is a strategic vulnerability. The new corridor is a direct response, a way to diversify trade and build resilience. It's a pivot away from the political whims of Washington. Mexico and Canada are reclaiming control, aiming for a more stable economic future. This project is the ultimate insurance policy against U.S. protectionism. It's about building a trade system based on mutual interest, not political pressure. The biggest advantage of this corridor? Bypassing U.S. tariffs and regulations entirely. Goods can move directly between Mexico and Canada, immune to American political decisions. For businesses, this means lower costs and fewer supply chain disruptions. Imagine a Canadian company buying Mexican auto parts. No more detours through Texas, no risk of sudden US tariffs. This makes products cheaper and companies more competitive, both regionally and globally. But it's not just about money, it's about predictability. The corridor offers stability, letting businesses plan years ahead without fear of political surprises. This new independence shifts the power dynamic in North American trade. Mexico and Canada now have leverage. They can increase use of the corridor if the US threatens new tariffs. The US must now be a more careful partner or risk being sidelined. It's a classic case of creating options to boost bargaining power. The trilateral relationship is fundamentally rebalanced. For Mexico and Canada, it's a game changer. For the US, it's a wake-up call. The rules of North American trade have changed. The US response to the Mexico-Canada corridor: shock, concern, and a grudging respect. Washington is reeling. Its central role in North American trade is suddenly in question. Some politicians see this as a rebuke of protectionism, others worry about lost jobs and revenue. Logistics and trucking companies in border states fear losing billions in business. Some US manufacturers, however, see opportunity. They might use the corridor to streamline their own supply chains, even if it means bypassing American infrastructure. The public debate is heating up. Some call for renewed collaboration, others double down on nationalism. Strategic thinkers in government see the bigger picture, a new economic alliance forming on America's doorstep. The corridor creates a new center of gravity in North America. The US must now rethink its approach to its neighbors. This isn't just about trade, it's about a shift in continental power. The debate is just beginning, but one thing is clear: the old order is gone. The US faces a choice: adapt or risk being left behind. The $120 billion corridor marks a turning point for North America. It could spark a new era, one defined by balance, not dominance. Bilateral trade between Mexico and Canada will surge, creating new industries and jobs. The US now faces a choice: respond with more protectionism or embrace collaboration and integration. This project could inspire similar moves worldwide as countries seek autonomy from superpowers. The corridor is a blueprint for economic self-determination in the 21st century. It's about more than trains and ports. It's about power, relationships, and the future. As the first shipments roll out, they carry a message. The old map of North American trade is being redrawn. The continent stands at a crossroads. The next move belongs to the United States. Will it build bridges to this new path, or walls around its old one?